We're always hearing about how AI is set to completely change the world, especially in medicine. But for any of that to actually work, AI needs one thing above all else: data. And I'm not talking about just any data. It needs to be what the experts call AI ready. So today, let's unpack what that really means and why it's so absolutely critical for building a future we can all trust.
I mean, think about it. From finding new drugs to diagnosing diseases faster and more accurately than we ever thought possible, the promise of AI is just huge. It has the potential to customize treatments for you and completely revolutionize how we care for patients. The future of healthcare is, no doubt, tied up with artificial intelligence.
And that brings us to the big, crucial question. All that incredible potential, it's all built on a foundation of data. But what happens if that foundation is shaky? What if the very information we're feeding these incredibly powerful systems isn't as clean or as reliable or even as ethically sourced as we think it is?
Well, that gets us to what you might call a hidden data crisis in biomedical research. There's what the National Academies has called a readiness gap, and that's just a way of saying there's this massive divide between the data we have and the super high-quality, trustworthy data that AI actually needs to work safely and effectively.
Now, for a good while, the gold standard for data has been what are called the FAIR principles. That stands for findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. And look, it's a fantastic start. But as this work from the NIH's Bridge to AI program points out, when the stakes are literally life and death, FAIR on its own just isn't enough.
Here's probably the best way to picture it. Think about cooking. You could have the most amazing recipe in the world. That's your AI model. But if your ingredients are kind of old, or you're not sure what they are, or you just toss them together carelessly, you're not getting a gourmet meal. You might even make something that makes people sick. It's the exact same idea for AI. That careful, meticulous preparation, it's everything.
And a huge piece of that preparation is a concept called provenance. This is a really important word to know. It basically means having the complete end-to-end story of that data. Where did it come from? What tools were used on it? Who touched it and when? Every single step in its journey has to be totally transparent and traceable.
So why does this matter so much? Well, because without it, things can go very, very wrong. Get this, in 2023 alone, more than 10,000 scientific research papers had to be retracted, and a huge number of those problems came right back to failures in data integrity and provenance, the very things this new framework is built to fix.
So, what's the fix? Researchers with the NIH's Bridge to Artificial Intelligence program, or Bridge to AI, they've come up with a new, much more thorough standard. It's a 7-point plan designed to make data truly AI-ready and, most importantly, build that foundation of trust we've been talking about.
And this visual just lays it out so perfectly. It's not just some simple checklist, it's a whole ecosystem. You see, we've still got fairness in there, of course, but now it's strengthened by 6 other critical pieces: provenance, characterization, ethics, pre-model explainability, sustainability, and computability. They all work together, each one making the others stronger.
To make that a little easier to digest, you can kind of group these 7 ideas into 3 main buckets. First, you've got getting the basics right. That's fairness and really understanding the data's characterization. Second, you have the part that ensures trust and transparency, which is where provenance, explainability, and ethics come in. And finally, you have to make it last, with sustainability and computability.
And if we just zoom in on a couple of these, you can really see the depth. We've talked about provenance, that's the complete data history. Ethics is all about making sure the data was collected the right way and is kept secure. And pre-model explainability, that just means having documentation so clear that any researcher can look at it and know immediately if the data is right for their particular purpose.
All right, so this all sounds great on paper, right? It's a fantastic framework. But what does it actually do? Let's take a look at how this whole approach creates a real, tangible path to much, much better data.
Now, this is where it gets really cool, because this shows the framework in action. Check out these radar plots for a clinical care medicine dataset. The purple line, that shows the dataset's AI readiness score in late 2024. You can see there are some gaps, especially in areas like characterization and sustainability. But then, the green line is the goal for mid-2026. It's a clear, visual roadmap for how they're going to improve.
And that's the key takeaway here. This is not just some philosophical idea. It's a practical, measurable tool. It lets research teams actually score their data, see where the weak spots are, and then build a concrete plan to create datasets that are truly solid, reliable, and ready for AI. So why should you care about all of these nerdy data standards? Because at the end of the day, this is about the foundation of the medical care that you, your family, and all of us are going to receive in the future.
It really is that simple. The performance of any AI, how accurate it is, how fair it is, how reliable it is, it all comes down to the quality of the data it learns from. You've heard the saying, garbage in, garbage out. Well, this framework is all about making sure we put excellence in so we get trustworthy, life-saving results out.
So the bottom line is this. Adopting these AI readiness standards does 4 incredibly important things. It ensures the science is actually valid. It helps catch and reduce the risk of bias and errors before they ever get baked into an AI model. It builds the foundation of trust that doctors and patients absolutely need to have in these new technologies. And it helps us get to results that are both ethical and explainable.
Ultimately, all of this work is really about answering one of the most fundamental questions of our time. As these incredibly powerful AI systems get more and more woven into our lives, and especially our health, we have to be certain, absolutely certain, that the data shaping their decisions is worthy of our trust. This framework is a huge step in making sure the answer to that question is a confident yes.